Okay, welcome. Let's talk here for a little bit. I'm going to give you a free business plan, and I'm going to talk about how you can start your own small business or large business with little money or experience so that you can travel the world, make money, have fun, not have a boss, not be in the 9-to-5 cubicle grind, and you can really enjoy your life. And you probably saw my video before where I was talking about 3 different steps and the importance of following those steps so that you can actually make your dream, your thoughts, a reality. Most people in this world, it's a lot of dreaming and not a lot of action, but you're going to be different. This video, this presentation, please watch it from start to finish. I know you're super busy, so I appreciate you being here and taking the time, but trust me, this will be worth it. I'm going to live up to my end of the deal, and I'm going to share stuff with you that you won't learn. You and I'm sure, didn't learn if you grew up like me in high school or junior high or even in university. But today, just from watching this, sitting back, relaxing, enjoying, maybe take a little bit of notes, you're going to be able to come out with a simple business plan that you could start on today or this week and actually be able to move from step by step into success, okay? So I'm not guaranteeing you that you'll become a millionaire or a billionaire. It took me a while. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I didn't just go from, zero or 47 bucks in my bank account to businesses that did millions and tens of millions of dollars. That took me time to do. But what I was able to do is enjoy my life right away and get newfound freedom and all those things that people want. Like I said, 80% of people dream about having their own business, being their own boss. This is what, true freedom is. And so I'm going to show you how you can do that. And maybe you already have a business that you know that you want to start, a restaurant, a hotel, real estate, retail, e-commerce, whatever it might be. Or maybe you just know you want to change, and I'm going to give you a business plan for free. So you can watch if you're in either category. But one thing I would say is don't put this off, this video. Don't just, leave this page and come back later, because I've been doing this in test groups. So if you're seeing this right now and you don't see a coming soon or waitlist email address, that means you're here at the right time, but it also means I'm going to take it down soon, because I'm not going to give everybody in the world this business plan. A lot of people see my videos. I get hundreds of millions of views a year. Last 18 months, my videos have been watched for about 630 million minutes. So this stuff's helped a lot of people, but I don't always give an exact blueprint formula, because if I give it to too many people, it'll stop working because everybody will be competing with each other. So don't X out of this unless, like I said, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg invited 9 people to show up, and he was going to pitch them on being investors in Facebook. 7 procrastinated, 2 showed up. Both of those 2 are billionaires. Dustin Moskovich and I forget the other guy, the Argentinian guy, I always forget his name. But they took action. They showed up when everybody else had other stuff to do, and all those other 7 people, it's the biggest regret of their life. So I believe that this presentation can be one of those turning points in your life. And the reason I say that is because this stuff changed my life. And so I can tell you from personal experience, and after having shared this with my test group and reaching hundreds of millions of people in my regular videos, every day I get tens, hundreds, even thousands of people writing me daily saying, wow, this stuff's changed my life, it's changed my income, it's given me newfound freedom. So this is tried and true stuff here. So one of the things that is so important for you to know, kind of the first thing in your business plan, is you have to catch trends, okay? I think we all know that some people get into stuff at the right time and some people don't. If you look at the history of social media, right now, if you try to start a competitor with Facebook, it's probably too late. Facebook has over 1 billion registered users. You're not going to have an easy time catching that. So that train has come. There was an opportunity probably from about 2000 to about 2008 for you to be in it, but that train's gone 8 years from now. Now, you could still build other apps, and there's lots of other opportunities, but specifically if you want a social network that's widely adopted, that people use to email and post their stuff, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And even as competitors pop up, Facebook's still this monster. So you got to catch the trends. They call this the first mover advantage, okay? So write this down. If you want to start your own business, you want to be able to work from home, you want to do it in something that's trending so that you can be one of the first movers. Now, I will tell you this. This is point number 2. I got good news for you. You don't have to be the very first, okay? And this is hard for people to understand. Don't have to be first. Perfect example of this, the first social network out there was really Friendster. And then after Friendster came MySpace. Those were the first and second, but Facebook was the third, and they have done the best. So, but notice they're in the beginning, but not the very beginning. So if you're watching this, what I'm about to teach you on the business plan that I did it at one point in my life, and I've shown other people how to do it. It's okay that you're a little bit late. It's okay. But you don't want to be too much later, because eventually it becomes very hard for you to get in that business, okay? So you don't have to be the first. That's the good news. You just kind of want to be, let's imagine there's a timeline, right? That's where it's too late. You know, too late. And this is the first person to do a new idea. You want to be in what I call the first third, okay? You want to be right here. And typically in business, whether it's you creating your own app, you got a restaurant idea, you got a health supplement, whatever it is you want to do, you want to sell things on Amazon, all great ideas. Or maybe you have an old school business, a down-to-earth business that's been around for hundreds of years, in that industry's been around, maybe a restaurant or something, or a doctor's office. You can still apply cutting edge trends to that, but you got to do it in the first third. So usually trends, I find in my experience, different people have different experience, that most business trends are about, you have about a 7 years here, okay, from kind of when it opens to closes. Let's say 7 to 10, okay? 7 to 10 years. And you saw this, like I said, with Facebook and social media, social networking sites. They really came on the scene around 2000 and 2001. And around 2008 is when Facebook really got big. And of course, they've gotten bigger. But so that's, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. What you want to do, so if you think of this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you can be here, get in the first 1 to 3 years, that's still, I consider, catching the trend. Okay, and what I'm about to show you and how to start your own social media marketing and internet marketing agency so that you can get small businesses pay you $1,000 to $10,000 to manage their social media and internet marketing. We're in this area here, but we're getting close to the end of this. People have been doing this for some years, and if you wait too long, there's too much competition. And when you look at profit, it's hard to make a profit when there's too many people competing. Perfect example of this is I was down in Mexico, and you're going across the border, and there's a whole bunch of entrepreneurs there selling gum and food and all that, but there's so many of them that they have no negotiating power. So you can bargain with them very low price, right? That's what happens. And so they never make a lot of money. If you're here in the first third, there's not a lot of people competing with you, which means you can set your own price, you can set your own lifestyle, and have a healthy profit margin so that you take home money into your bank account. And not, at the end of the day, money is not the most important thing in the world, but without it, you won't have the fuel to live out the life that you want to live. You need fuel, you need freedom. And that comes from having financial independence. Small business can bring that to you. You know, it brings it to many people. I think there's over 20 million small businesses, but most of them aren't healthy. So the third thing I want to show you, once you understand this, the third thing is that without a map, it's too risky. Okay? Without a map, everything I'm telling you, and I'm going to put the word plan, they're synonyms here. Without that, it's too risky for you to start your own business. A lot of small business owners, because they're just doing it on their own without knowing what they're doing, they're better off. I read a statistic. The average entrepreneur that doesn't know what they're doing would make more money per hour, higher income per hour, if they were a manager at McDonald's. And then McDonald's ain't going out of business, so you always know your paycheck's there. So if you don't have the chance to make good money, you might as well take a safe and secure job. And that's what we call risk. The odds you're going to make it. So without a plan, but do you know what's good news about this? The inverse is true. The inverse says with a plan, with a map, it's not that risky. Nothing's guaranteed, but it's not nearly as risky. So what do I mean by a map? And this map and this plan I'm going to give you, so that it's basically a business model built all out for you. You don't have to do the hard work. Think of it this way. You know, when I was 19, I got my first business mentor, a guy named Joel Salatin, and I've had multiple mentors, and I still spend a lot of my time learning from mentors because they are here, right? And I'm here. And different times in my life, I've been, you know, for my first business, made me $12,000 in 1 year of work, part-time work. I did a partnership with Joel Salatin, made 12 grand. So it wasn't a ton of money, but Joel Salatin at that point, he was probably making six figures. So what happens is he left behind a trail. Have you ever seen, you know, the fairy tale where you leave behind breadcrumbs? So you leave behind a little map. And what he did with me was he left a map. So he, at that time, I'm not sure his exact income, but I'm going to guess, let's say he was making 100 grand. I was making zero. Or, you know, minimum wage or whatever. What happened was I could have gone out all on my own, not listened to anybody, just said, I'm gonna learn the hard way. But luckily, I said, this guy, he's already here. I want to get there. And at that point, because I grew up as a single mom, my dad was in prison when I was born. I was born in Long Beach, California, not in a nice place like here in Beverly Hills. I didn't even ever think about becoming a millionaire. I had never met somebody who was a millionaire. You know, now if you watch my YouTube channel, I have all kinds of fascinating people. Chris Paul was here actually today, pro basketball player. He signed a $100 million contract. He had lunch with me today, and we were just talking about, we didn't grow up like that. You know, he signed a $100 million guaranteed contract, okay? Back when I was here at zero, big money was 100 grand. So I found somebody, a mentor, who had a plan and had a map. And it wasn't just head knowledge. He'd actually done it before. He'd actually done it. So I could have confidence that if I followed the steps, and he showed me how to do the marketing, how to get customers, how to write out plan, how to get investors if I needed it, he showed me. He showed me how to create high quality products, how to do customer support, how to build a team around you, how to find a good business partner and not get ripped off. He showed me practical things like, you know, how to form a corporation, whether it's an LLC or an S corp, all those, how to name a company. He showed me how to do that. He showed me how to do PR. All those things that I've used ever since I was 19 years old then, and I've used these over the years. Every single business I've started, and I've started, you know, multiple businesses. And what happens now, I'm in a slightly different place, and you'll probably be in a different place as you become more successful. You know, now I learned from people who are still way ahead of me. They're making billions of dollars. And Mark Cuban was over at the house not too long ago, and he was here for like 8 hours, and we filmed a little bit, but we were talking, and I'm absorbing as much as I can, continual basis. And he's made, we're $3 billion. So he's here, he's at the big B, and here I am following that same pattern. And I'll tell you I'm going to tell you a story that directly applies to you, and then I'm going to give you this business plan you can take home. And for those of you, I'm also going to have a test group. If you want to get into my test group, I've got a paid test group where you basically will be getting certified over 4 months. And step by step, everything you need to know will hold your hand and make sure you do it the right way. So you got Mark Cuban there. Well, I'll tell you this. Here's what changed my life, because you're watching this on the internet. Almost everything I do, I believe in web-based businesses. No matter what I want to do, I want it to be related to the internet so I can travel the world. If you watch my videos in my Snapchat, I have a pretty big Snapchat and stuff. You can see that I travel. I've got a place in different countries, homes, different places across the United States. I own some farms in different parts, and so I like to move around. And with the internet, is the best way to do that, because you're not tied to a location. You're just tied to the internet connection in a laptop, or I primarily just use an iPhone now. So what happens is in life, which is so amazing, is that you come to a crossroads and you're frustrated. And I was frustrated. And I had started that first business, and I had Joel Salatin, and he laid the map, but that was for a farm business. And when I came back to the city, I didn't have anybody who could give me a map. Joel Salatin was a farmer. He could help me build a farm. But once I realized I wasn't just going to do a farm, I'm going to do more internet business, I had to find one. And one of the luckiest things that happened to me in the early 2000s, I was just browsing the internet, and I stumbled upon a course by a guy named Corey Rudel, and I bought the course. It was like all the money I had at the time. I think it was $500, might have been $1,000 with all the upsells and different things, upgrades you could do. And I remember it mailed me this 3-ring binder, and in it was how to do internet-based businesses. And at first I thought it was a scam, because there was a website and it said that Corey Rudel made, it was him laying it was a picture of him on the beach on a lounge chair, and it said, how I made $38,000 from my lounge chair this afternoon on the beach of Hawaii. And I was like, that's the dream. This guy's traveling the world. He doesn't have a boss. He's relaxed. And so I said, heck, I'll spend the $500,000, whatever it was. And I remember it wasn't like the internet. Now you buy stuff and you just download it. It came in the mail, and I opened it up, and it was like complicated. And I was like, oh man. And I only really remember one thing from that course, but it was how to do Google AdWords, which are the little ads you see when you do searches on Google. And it showed me how I could do them. And instantly, well, let me not say instantly. To me, instantly is over 9 months, because time flies when you're an entrepreneur. But over 9 months, I went from zero income to, I think I made about $70,000 in 9 months. So I was basically making six figure 1 year. And I remember going, life completely changed. I was able to move out of a mobile home, get my own place. I had a roommate still, save money, but I was able to travel. I went to Puerto Rico, took a girl I was dating at the time. I took my dad. The only trip my dad was in my life when I was growing up, and I did one trip in my life with my dad, and it's from me following this roadmap that Corey Rudel had laid out in this 3-ring binder on how to build an internet business, and brought me to six figures. Now, I'm not saying that happens for everybody, but that is my true story. Verifiable. 100%. I remember seeing my tax return, my 1099 statement, and how much money it was for us. It was right around 70 grand. And so I said to myself, I wonder if this would always work. Any business I want to get into. So after that, I got into the nightclub business, because I was like, I was at the age where I was going to clubs, and I was having people charge me $15 for a drink. And I was like, wait a second. I don't want to be at a club as the person buying the drink. I want to be the person, in the business making the money. So, but again, I had learned my lesson. Find a map. Find somebody here who had already built a, nightlife restaurant type business, and I'm here starting out, and have him lay out the map and pull me up to his success level. And so I found two business partners. I was they were in North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham area, and Giorgio and Jay was their name. Giorgio Bataxias was his name. And he had a chain of restaurants. He had been a chef in restaurants. And I came to him and I was like, I got an idea, I don't have enough money, because what I'm showing you today is how you can do it without much money or capital. And I had no capital. I mean, I might have had $1,000 or something, but not enough to start a club, and that's expensive business. So I went to Giorgio and I followed, I kind of impressed him. I did some small projects with him, and then I said, I'd like to do these clubs. Will you show me how to do them? Will you give me a chance? And so he gave me a chance, and I got into the nightlife business. And I had two businesses at that time. Multiple streams of income are important. I'll talk a little bit maybe about that later. But I was able to create a second source of income doing something I loved. I was around fun. It was fun. It was a great thing. I did that for years as a second business. I would do my first business. I was in finance and wealth management during the day, and then at night I go to this nightlife. And this grew. I mean, I grew it from zero to all of a sudden thousands of people would show up. Not hundreds. I mean, sometimes hundreds, but I had, I think the biggest one I ever had 2,000 people. We charged a cover price. So all of a sudden I was like, wow, this roadmap thing works. Having a business plan that's like a map, that's done by someone else way more successful, because he was already, I think he was a millionaire, I'm pretty sure. I don't always ask people. So he was a millionaire. At that point, I already knew how to make 100 grand, but I didn't know how to make 1,000,000. And so I wanted to learn from somebody who had already done it. And so that helped pull me up. Doesn't mean you'll always be as successful as them, but it's like a tractor beam. It's like a vacuum cleaner. It kind of pulls you along, and that's what you want to have happen. You must be pulled into success. You can do it the easy way, or you can do it the hard way. And there's been a few times in my life I did it the hard way, and every time I go back to the easy way. What I'm showing you today is the easy way. And this talk, you're watching this, whatever, 30 minutes, an hour. Think of all the time wasted in school where we learned about isosceles triangles. We learned about all this stuff. By the way, I'll read you something that I got from somebody. I showed somebody this, and they got into my test group, and they wrote me, and this was that they were only in it maybe a few days, and I just want to show you some success besides mine. Let me see if I can find this here. Here's one. He's on Instagram. It was an Instagram comment. Snap Josh Thomas was his name. Ty, dropped out of college and barely passed high school. Made a 13 on my ACT. Been 1 year since I went through your program. I've made over $3 million in the last 11 months. Business with Shopify, selling products, subscription business, consulting. All started with a laptop in my grandma's basement and Facebook. Thank you, Ty. No way to repay you. You have changed the world. So, I can't take that credit. I don't like to take that credit, even if people try to give it to me, because really I'm just teaching what someone else taught me. And that's like that movie with Kevin Spacey, Pay It Forward. And the reason I'm doing this video right now, because I always promised myself, if the things that my mentors took the time out to learn, to teach me worked, that I would also do that to other people. I would also share with other people. So I'm paying this forward here. Now, your question might be now, okay, you believe me, you're bought in, you see it, this is all common sense. This is so common sense. I wish the presidential debates going on right now, Hillary and Trump, I wish they would talk about some of this stuff, because what really matters to you? Enjoying your life, taking care of your family, having enough money at the end of the day that you feel good about life, that you don't feel stressed on the first of the month because you're not sure you can pay the rent, not sure you can pay bills. One of the things that you'll learn from today is how the heck you can always generate income for yourself. And I consider that one of the most important things in the world, that I know how to create income for myself. So what do you need? Well, I'll give you some practice stuff. First of all, you got to know what you're good at and you got to know what the trends are. I talked about that. So what's a trend? You might already have a business idea that you're locked in on. If you're watching this and you're not sure what to do, I'm going to give you one. Right now, I believe one of the biggest trends in a business you could start from home with little money or experience is getting small businesses to pay you $1,000 to $10,000 a month, depending on what you do for them, to manage their social media and internet marketing. And I just I showed someone this. Someone got into my paid test group. They paid money, they got in, we kind of walked them through. And within 3 days, he had somebody paying him $1,000 a month on a contract for 3 months. Instantly made all his money back. He invested in himself on the course, and he's now in business. He was blown away, and he didn't have much experience. So social media and internet and email marketing, we'll add that. Those three things, small businesses don't know how to do it. Most small business owners have no freaking idea what they're doing. If you don't believe me, any store you frequent, go check out their Instagram, check out their Twitter. It's outdated. Check out their website. Check out their email. They probably don't even ask you for your email address. They're not building an email list. If you can learn over time how to do this for businesses, they will gladly pay you to $110,000 a month. In fact, one of the people teaching, his name's Joe Soto, he teaches inside this test group course that I have. He does about $1.2 million a year. He's out of Washington, D.C. He's a father. Him and his wife, they have 8 kids together. And so he wants to be an entrepreneur, and he's done it. And he pioneered a lot of this social media agency, and he specializes and he helps restaurants. So he goes into restaurants, he looks at their website, he looks at their social media, he creates a plan for them, and they pay him a monthly retainer. And so he has about 50 clients. You don't need that many. Remember, he's already at the 7-figure million plus level. And he was telling me about one up in, I think it was Wisconsin or Minnesota. He came in, because you can do this from anywhere. Like, he lives in DC, but he has clients in different parts, country or the world. And so he went into this, it was like a cafe or something, a restaurant, and they were doing $70,000 a week in sales. And he said, I promise you I can get you to $100,000 in sales. Now, he did some analysis. When you're doing this, don't just go promising without knowing what you're talking about. But he knew what he was talking about. He had analyzed the internet search volume, the amount of people around, and he said, I can take that guy from $70,000 a week to $100,000. Guess what? He said, right now, consistently for the last, 6 months, they're doing $100,000 a week. So he's making them extra $30,000 a week. That's $120,000 a month. That's almost $1.5 million extra a year from him. Do you think that he has any problem having them sign a contract to pay him? No. They're gladly pay him. And he doesn't charge. He makes them an extra million. He doesn't charge them an extra million. He might charge them $10,000, $15,000 a year, paid monthly. And they get all these new clients and they grow their business. And he's been able to do that over and over. And I have been able to do that over and over. I'm one of the top social media monetizers in the world. That means I not only have social media, because there's people who have huge social media accounts, but they don't actually turn it into cash flow. It's not an actual business. So, you have the Kardashians. I think Kim was on the cover of Forbes magazine for making $52 million with social media, although I think a lot of it comes from her little Kimoji apps. But let's say she's making the most, the Kardashians. I'm probably in the next 2 or 3 or 4 in the world. I'm not, it's hard to know for sure. My lawyer says, are you sure you're the number 2? I'm like, no, I'm not, because no one tells how much money they make. But I'm pretty sure, because I know the business world, that I'm up there in the top people that have learned how to take social media and internet and email marketing and make it into businesses. And I've been able to do it in multiple businesses. I invest in different businesses, and whether it be in health business, whether it be sleep company that I'm involved in helping people sleep better, whether it's educational programs like this, all kinds of things. And so you can learn how to do this even if you don't know anything right now. And that's what's so cool. If you look at the average education curve, okay, let's say you decide you want to be a lawyer. If you want to be a lawyer and you have no experience in law, what do you have to do? Sorry, lawyer. My pen, hard to write with these. So if you're a lawyer, if you want to be a lawyer and today you have zero experience and you want to become a highly paid lawyer over here, guess what? You got a lot of school to go through. Undergrad, law school. You got to pass the test. And then you got to actually get someone to hire you. It's hard. A lot of lawyers unemployed. How much money does this cost? How much time? You're talking, let's say, 4 to 8 years. How much money? Depending on where you go to school, could be anywhere from $20,000 to $200,000 a year. Total. So you're talking, that's how much money is going to come out of your bank account. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be a lawyer. I'm just saying, let's calculate the cost and the time. All good investors factor in this. And so what I'm saying to you is, maybe you should be a lawyer. If that's what you want to do, follow your, energy, if that's where you really feel excited. But don't just do it for no reason, because it's a lot of cost. Don't just do it because your parents said to do it. One of the things I like about getting small business to pay you $1,000 to $10,000 a month to manage their social media and their internet and their email marketing is, what's the learning curve there? Well, I built a certification program that's not 4 years. It's not 8 years. It's like 4 months. Social media is so new that there's no university you can go learn this from. College professors aren't going to know this because they don't do it every day. You got to learn from people who are actually doing it. Okay? And in about 4 months, you can become, you won't be, when Joe started his agency at the beginning, okay, he was not as knowledgeable as he is now years later. But he was still able to get clients and help them. So I believe in 4 months, most people, I can show you enough stuff that you will be hireable. And that's, you get your first client. Like I said, one of the first people I got led in the program, he had his first client in 3 days or 4 days. And some people take longer and some people have 5 clients real fast. But the point is, imagine how life changes, because I remember how my life changed when all of a sudden you go and someone starts writing you a check and you take that to the bank and deposit it. I remember when my bank account was almost all fees, late fees or overdraft fees. You go $50. So I remember getting bank accounts when I was in North Carolina, and that was one of the big things, like, does it have overdraft protection? I was like setting it up. Remember how you could do that? You set your overdraft to connect to your savings account or a credit card. I couldn't even get a credit card because I didn't have good credit at the beginning. I had no credit. So that wasn't even helpful. And then all of a sudden you get a check from a customer. And one of the first service-based businesses I did like this, I had a client, I'll never forget his name, Gary Townsend out of New Zealand. And he wrote me a check for work that I did helping him. And I can't remember the amount. It was either $5,000 or $10,000 for 1 day work. And I remember that one wire. I remember him saying, I'll pay you what I pay he was from New Zealand. And he said, I'll pay you what I pay people here, consultants here. I didn't know what that meant. I was expecting $300. He said, send me your bank account info. I gave him my Bank of America. I've done a little bit of college, about 3 credit hours or something I have out of 100. So I was at NC State in Raleigh, the university, and I'm sitting there, and I couldn't afford a computer, so I was using the lab computer. And I remember I never sent my wire instructions, so I sent my wire instructions to Gary, New Zealand. Didn't think anything of it. I thought it'd be a couple $100 in my bank account. I already had $300 in my bank account, so I thought it would go up to like $500-600 because I only did like 1 day's worth of work. And I remember like 1 or 2 days, maybe 3 days later, I think it was on a Friday, and when I checked back Monday or Tuesday, there was like, I think, don't quote me on this, I think it was 10 grand. And I had never had that much money sent to me. Might have been 5 grand. But I was like, wow, this changed my life. Thousands of dollars, even $1,000 would have changed my life. At that point, I was stressed. Part of the reason I dropped out of college at the beginning is because I didn't have enough money to pay for it. I remember it was like always a fee, always expensive textbooks. And I didn't have a family. I didn't grow up with a rich family. So my stepdad was basically like, you want to go to college, you're on your own. That's what he said. So I was on my own, and I was trying to get 9-to-5 jobs. And I had worked and been an entrepreneur on a farm before, but not in the city, not in the modern world. And so I'm very thankful to Gary that, he hired me and I had very little. He was my first client. And that's the cool thing. A lot of people think if they have no experience, that no one will hire them. That's not true. And in fact, in this test group program, I'm going to teach you what to say to people so that they hire you, and you can be honest with them and say, hey, you're my first client, but they won't care if you say it correctly. I'm going to show you how you can build a business, social media marketing agency, okay? I'm going to show you how to pick a niche, how to specialize, how to find clients. It's all a map, a business plan laid out for you. Videos, you get video lessons, boom, boom, boom. All you got to do is have a phone. You just go, boom, pull it up, log in as a members area, password protected website. You're in there, you're watching this stuff, you're learning. You go to the next course. There's some simple work that you do right there on the page. At the end of 4 months, you're certified and going out and getting clients, and you can even get it before then. So one of the things that I want to read you, kind of some of the things that you're going to learn specifically, because people have questions, and I'm going to be putting a link in a little bit, a button that'll take you, and if you click the link and you go to the next page and it says the test group's closed, just enter your email to be on the waiting list, because I open this up and then I close it because I don't want a million people knowing how to do this, because then every restaurant, every hotel, every doctor's office, every small business you go to, they're like, oh, I'm already working with somebody who's certified in this, right? I want to keep it limited. So if you click, I'll show a button in a little bit. If you click that button and the test group's closed, just put in your email. We'll try to open it up at another time. If you do see it, okay, if there's a regular page and you can get in, it'll show you all the stuff, the cost, blah, 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 what you're going to get. And I'll leave that open. There'll be a timer on the page. And I want to give everybody in this world a fair shot. I don't care what ethnicity you are, male, female. I don't care if you're young or old. I'm an equal opportunity person. And so I want to give everybody a chance. And if somebody doesn't want to do it, then that's fine. There's other businesses you can do on your own. You can, find another template. You won't find anything like this. And I've looked around the internet. I've seen nothing like this that takes you step by step with a proven track record, learning from not just professors at university, but learning from people who are making money in it, who have made money, who have made hundreds of thousands, millions, and even tens and tens of millions of dollars. Okay, so that's kind of my promise. So here's what you're going to get if you get into this test group, or the paid test group. Now, what will you get if you get into the test group? Okay, I'm going to read to you, because this is important that you know what kind of business plan are you getting. Does it cover all the details? Are you going to be left, hanging and having to figure out things on your own? No, we're going to go nuts and bolts from the beginning. Over 4 months, you're in business, and even earlier if you want, if you're ambitious. So I'm going to show you how to form a company, whether it should be an LLC, an S Corp. You're going to learn that. Very important that you understand the right type of company to form. If you don't know this, it can have catastrophic consequences in the long run. I'm going to show you how to create a brand. What's your niche? What's your brand going to be? What kind of social media marketing agency will you be? There's many different formats that you can take, and you got to find your unique strengths. I'm going to show you how to use certain personality tests that I have inside the program. You'll take those, they're quick, take you 10 minutes, and they'll scientifically point towards your strengths, and I'll show you how you use those to determine specifically how to market and angle your business. I'm going to show you why age won't matter. How you can actually use your age, whether it's extra old or extra young or middle age, to your advantage. There's specific things you can say depending on your age that will get your foot in the door and getting these clients to pay you $1,000 to $10,000 a month. I'm going to show you the equipment you need to start. Do you need fancy cameras? Can you just use an iPhone? The good news is you don't need nearly as much as you think. In fact, you probably have everything you need. I'll show you what's already laying around your house, and it turns you into an entrepreneur, a business owner right away. I'm going to show you how to manage your business finances. Because it's not enough to just make money. What do you do when you start having profits? How do you invest it? How do you not lose it? How do you reinvest it back into your business? I'm going to show you how to do email marketing. One of the most powerful tools that you can bring to businesses is the ability to use email. Email is still possibly the most powerful form that your clients could be using to market that they aren't. Whether your clients are restaurants or doctors' offices, I'm going to show you how to become a master of email lists, email list building. I'm going to show you a special technique that very few people in the world know. But one of the teachers, one of the people that I flew in, remember these are all entrepreneurs teaching, one of the entrepreneurs teaches, he does contests. How to use Facebook to create contests for your clients so that they instantly go from 0 people on their email list to thousands. I'm going to show you who you should learn from on social media so that you can start becoming an expert by just mimicking the patterns. Most people aren't good. It's not who you think. A lot of people say, oh, just follow the people with the most followers. No. Followers can be fake, they can be bought, and they can also just be because you're a rock star or something, or because you're pretty on Instagram. It doesn't translate into business success. I'm going to show you how to do branding for businesses, how you can create what's called a brand story for them. So that, because most businesses are lost. Their website, it's not congruent. It's just basically a page. It's like, here's my address. That's not what you need. That's not what they need. And you're going to be able to show them. And you're going to probably be the only person in your area that knows how to do this. Possibly your whole state, depending on where you live. I'm going to show you how to build your own website, because you need a company website. I'll show you how to do business cards, what type of business cards, or even if you need them at all. Do you need fancy ones, video ones? There's all these complicated things so that everyone you meet, it becomes a potential client. I'm going to show you the real way to use each of the social media channels. So I have separate curriculum for you, separate lessons for you on Twitter. Twitter is a high volume marketing tool. Very different than, let's say, Instagram. Instagram is you'll learn what I call it inside. I have a special name for Instagram, and now you have Instagram stories. You'll learn Snapchat. I have one of the bigger, I don't know if it's the biggest entrepreneur Snapchat, but probably in the world. And I'll show you how I did that and how you can do that too. I will show you how to use Facebook, because now with Facebook, you not only for yourself and for your clients can do traditional Facebook, but you also have, where you just post in the feed, but you also have promoted, you have dark posts, you have regular PPC stuff, and now you have Facebook Live, which is an extremely powerful tool. I'm going to show you how to do video marketing specifically around YouTube. I have one of the most viewed YouTube channels in history by minutes watched and by views, hundreds of millions. And so I'm going to show you what I've learned. Now, you can learn a lot of this stuff on your own, but I'm going to tell you, I've spent tens of millions of dollars learning it. So it can be an expensive lesson, or you can just learn from me. And I always learn, when I had the choice between learning the easy way, the cheap way, and the hard and expensive way, I always like to choose the way where somebody else already spent the money. Remember what the billionaire Warren Buffett says. He says, you only learn from mistakes, but there's no reason they have to be yours. What he meant was, learn from the mistakes of others. I spent millions of dollars the wrong way or suboptimal. And now, over the years, I've gotten better and better, and you're going to get that experience. I'm going to show you how you can use your certification in this test group where you walk out, where you can go in confidently to businesses and say, look, I'm certified. I'm one of the only people in the world certified by this group here, Ty Lopez and his group, that are one of the top internet marketers in history. And I'm not saying that to brag about myself. I want you to be able to brag about yourself, So people go to Harvard and they can brag about the fact they went to Harvard because Harvard is prestigious in the academic world. Well, that's what I want this to be for you with this small business that you start. I want to be a prestigious, and it is a prestigious source. Okay, so I'm also going to show you how you can, what not to do. There's a lot of social media, like Meerkat was a social media platform that's no longer even around. So if you had built all this skill around Meerkat, guess what? That app's gone. So I'm going to show you what to use for your clients and yourself and what not to use. I'm going to show you how you can grow your own personal social media. My social media started like everybody's at 0, and now it's grown large combined. I'm not sure how many Millions of people have see my stuff every year, but it's a lot. In fact, Google, I work closely with them. I'm one of the largest advertisers on YouTube, and my Google reps said they commissioned a study and 70% of American men recognize my face or my name. And that's not, again, it's not me bragging. I'm going to show you how you can get that tremendous leverage, both for your own social media accounts and other people and other companies that will hire you. I'm going to show you how to get individual clients. You can work with athletes. You can work with musicians. You can work with entertainers. You can work with hotels. You can work with Las Vegas casinos. I'm going to show you how to do internet optimization. And what I mean by that is optimize websites for companies. Most companies do not know, if you go to their website, even big companies, they're horrible. They're hard to navigate. There's no central call to action. And I'm going to teach you each of those steps so that you can walk into businesses and instantly impress them by going, you know, I looked at your website. I see 7 things you could change that would improve things for your business overnight. Let me help you with that. I'm going to show you how to get customers to sign contracts, monthly contracts, so you have recurring multiple streams of income from different clients. Warren Buffett, the billionaire, says, don't rely on one source of income. Have multiple streams. Each client is a different stream. You're diversifying your lifestyle so that if one customer disappears, which happens, you know, they move on, all your income is not tied up in one person. So how to get clients. I'm going to show you how to do credit card processing so they can pay with their credit card, and it's all set up. I'm going to show you what banks to use, what gateways to use, whether you should use things like PayPal, Stripe, all these different tools out there, or get dedicated ones. We'll talk all about that. I'm going to show you which email marketing platform you should use, because there's many different ones. I'm going to show you how to create your own newsletter so you get your clients on an automated system that you just write one newsletter and it goes out and keeps in touch with them weekly or monthly or even daily sometimes, depending on the business model you choose. That's all laid out for you in this program. Now, you're probably wondering what you have to do to get into this test group, what it's going to take. Now, you can take everything that you learn on this video and just do it for free. You can close out of this video. You don't have to go in the test group. My point is not to force people. The reason I created the test group is so many people, when I've given advice like this and shown them techniques and talked about business plans, people go, okay, that's great, but I do better when somebody helps me. You know, there's different types of learners. There's audio, visual, and kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic meaning somebody helped them do it. You know, visually see it and do it at the same time. And most people learn better that way. So I decided I'll make a limited time test group. I'll give everybody one chance to get in it when they watch this video presentation. I'll give them, you know, a timer on the page. When you click the button below, you'll see a timer and you can think about it. And no hard feelings if someone doesn't want to do it. This isn't for everybody. I wouldn't want everybody. In fact, I won't allow everybody to go in. I did that first test group. People didn't think I was serious. And I said Sunday, when I initially launched it a little while ago, and I said, it was on like a Wednesday, and the next Sunday following, I said, I'm going to close it at midnight. People didn't take me seriously. Every day I got people going, wait. And I said, you know what? Procrastination is dangerous. And should I let people in that procrastinate too much? Well, Warren Buffett, who I've never met in person, but at one point he's the richest man in the world. He said when he does business, he goes to people, he makes them a fair offer, and he says, think about it. And he says, yes or no, no hard feelings. But if you don't want to do it, he says, I never come back again. There's no second chances. And I wondered why he did that. And then I realized he wanted to do business. He wanted to interact with people who can make a decision. We live in a world where people get overwhelmed. The average person spends $80 a month. $80 a month. That's $1,000 a year on Starbucks or, whatever, coffee. The average person and coffee's great. It's made Howard Schultz, the owner of Starbucks, one of the wealthiest men in the world. And so often I'm thankful that my mentors told me, Ty, don't just invest in making other people wealthy. Make sure you invest back into yourself, into your mind, into your brain. And that's what this program does for you. So like I said, you can go, I'm not going to do it, and that's completely fine. I have missed out on many opportunities in life because I either didn't have the money or procrastinated. I can think of 3 huge deals. I won't even say the company names because you'll know them. They're global companies that I could have been a partner in or bought. And I waited, I waffled. And looking back, I was like, wait, it was obvious to me sitting there in that first impression I had that this was a good deal. You know, there's a book, Blink, by Malcolm Gladwell, New York Times bestselling author. He says, you usually know if something's good for you pretty quick. You go on a date, you don't get along with the person. He's like, you don't have to go on 100 dates. You know, when I met business partners or I'm doing business, I've learned, not always, but most of the time, my first impression and my gut feeling is what I need to go with. So that's why I would like you to do. Go with your gut feeling. If your gut feeling is that the things that I've talked about can help you, can give you a simple template, you can get businesses paying you $1,000 to $10,000 even with no experience. If you can learn the steps that I'm going to show you and learning from proven people, then go for it. If you feel wary, don't do it. It's okay. It really is. Except you have to be okay with missing out on opportunities. Because as I told you in the very beginning, you have to catch trends. 9 people were invited by Mark Zuckerberg to become partners in Facebook. 2 showed up. And that's about the ratio of this video. If I show this video to 9, 10 people, 1 or 2 will take it seriously. And I'm okay with that. That's the way the world works. And those other 7 people in the Facebook, they look at Dustin Moskovitz and they're like, this guy made $1 billion for showing up and being involved in Facebook. And they regret that. There's a guy, true story, one of the lawyers for Jeff Bezos, when Jeff Bezos was forming Amazon, Jeff Bezos said, I'll give you 5% of Amazon, 5% of the company, if you invest like 25 or 50 grand. And the guy had the money, but he said he just got busy and he procrastinated. 5% of Amazon now, it's almost the biggest company in the world. Jeff Bezos is, I think right now, just went to the richest man in the world, past Bill Gates. That person could have had 5%. Now, he wouldn't have been as rich as Jeff Bezos, but Jeff Bezos is worth 70, 80 billion. This guy would have been worth, 3, 4 billion. Not too bad, right? $3,000 million. So I'm not promising you, I'm not in any way saying this program turns you into millionaire or billionaire. I'm just saying there's always a price to procrastination. And so this is what you and I should have learned growing up. Practical, step-by-step way to start your own business in an emerging trend. Now, the most important thing I want to tell you, for peace of mind, because it's okay to be smart. You don't have to be accepting of everything people say on the internet because sometimes people are lying. I have a 100% money back guarantee. So you go through the program for 4 months. If you don't think it was worth the money, you can get 100% of your money back. So I'm putting my neck out. My lawyer's like, you should just do a 3-day one. That's in the state of California. And on the internet, that's kind of the minimum you have to do. And I was like, nah, 3 days is too short. I don't want people to feel pressured. He said, well, do 2 weeks, 14 days. I said, no. I said, well, it's a 4-month program. Let's do full 4 months. He said, well, then people can take the course, get all the info, start the business, and get their money back. And I said, you know what? I believe in the innate goodness of most people, not everybody. And I've done this for years with refunds on the program. Any program I've ever done, these refunds, by the way, are backed by Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. So you can go to sleep good tonight knowing your money's guaranteed also by the credit card companies. And I said, look, a few people will take advantage of this in this test group, but I'm willing to live with that to protect all the good people. So I believe you're a good person. If you're watching this, you're interested, you wanting to better your life. You wouldn't have sat here through this video if that wasn't the type of person you are. So 4-month money back guarantee. If you don't like how the website looks, if you don't like the teachers, if you don't think it was what you expected, boom. I have an office here in Hollywood, got 50 employees there. So it's a real company. You can call up, you can talk. We're there about 6 days a week. Sunday, there's customer support too. So really it's 7 days a week, about 16 hours a day. Somebody's there to answer emails or chat. We have live chat and calls. So you can call us. All people understand you. We don't outsource that. You don't have to do that in the next 4 months, but you'll have that ticket as a bonus that you can come to and enhance your learning. Some of them I'll be there. I won't be at all of them. I try to go. I think I've been at all of them so far, but it'll enhance your experience. You'll be around other students. You'll get to ask different instructors, people who have already done this, questions and get your question answered. So that's the bonus that I'm including on top of all this. So see a button below, click that. It's going to take you to the next page. It's a 256-bit SSL encrypted page, the safest page that you can be on. You enter your info, you enter your card info. We don't see your credit card number. You press submit. Next page is a phone call scheduler. I'm going to, and this is the other bonus, give you concierge access. I've designated about 9 people in my office as concierge. So that way you have an actual person's phone number and email as you're going through the course, and they're gonna introduce themselves. So after you get access, you're in, boom, you schedule when they want you to call you. They'll call you anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you live, how old you are, they will call you. And you can do it on Skype if you want, or FaceTime, or whatever is best for you, WhatsApp, and they'll walk you through any questions you have. But you're gonna get access immediately. In fact, you're gonna be starting to go through this right now, as quickly as you can enter your info on the next page. So click the link below. Remember, I always say life always has a crossroads. And when you look back at your life, the quality of your life is the quality of your decisions. A lot of people go left. Millions of people. And a few people go right. And I hope you'll make the right decision. Only you know what's the right decision for you, but I truly believe things happen for a reason. I don't believe you just randomly stumbled upon this page. I believe it has a potential to change your life like it changed my life and the other people who have gotten access and who teaching inside. So thanks so much for your time. Click the link below. If for any reason you don't see the link or the button, you can always call in. There should be a phone number above. You can talk to a real person. You can go to the website. There's a live chat. If you click the help button, we're there to help you at any time. Okay, so one thing I just want to emphasize, you'll see a little timer on the next page. That's a real timer. So if you come back, the page is closed. Okay, so that's very, very important. I want to give everybody a chance, and if it's not right for somebody, I just give the spot, open it up to the next person. Okay, I think that's the most fair way to do this. That'll work for everybody. So thanks so much for your time. Click the link below, and there's more explanation on the page if you have some questions. Doesn't matter if you're male, female, black or white, live in the US or Russia, China, Australia, the UK, Canada, Latin America. This stuff works. Businesses need help everywhere, and they're willing to pay you. So I hope you'll catch this trend. And yeah, one request I have, when you get in the test program, get in there, you on your phone, you're learning stuff, you're starting to take action, just send an email to me, tylopez.com, just telling me your success story. That's the highlight of my day, hearing great testimonials, the ones like I read you. I love those, and I get them every day, and they never get old, because that's what I believe pay it forward. And I hope one day you'll pass this stuff on, what you learn, and you'll be able to share this story with other people. And that's how the world becomes a better place. So thanks so much, and talk to you soon. Okay, if you're still here, it means you might have a few questions before you click that button below. Let me answer some of the most common questions I get about this program. Number one is, will it work for me? Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I think this is the best opportunity for new entrepreneurs that I've seen to be able to start a business with little money or experience. Nothing in life works 100% of the time. But I'll tell you this, there's no other program you can get into that has a 100% money back guarantee. So you don't have to worry about that, because if for any reason you get bored, you get tired, you don't follow through with it, you can just get your money back. So in that way, it's 100% money back guaranteed to work for you. It either works or you can get your money back, whichever you think, whichever one you want. Okay, so I think that's the most powerful guarantee. And like I said, I wish everything in life was like that. I wish college degrees were like that, and my high school and junior high and all that. There was a lot of money spent on you and I. We didn't necessarily learn like we should have. I want to change that. Another question is, does it matter how old I am? Very common question. Great thing about social media is nobody's good at it. So when you walk into small businesses, they're not going to be like, well, you're only 19. What do you know about social media and internet marketing? You can be like, I'm 19, I know a lot, because I'm part of my generation. On the flip side, if you're watching this and you're 50, you can walk in and use your experience in life and say, look, I speak your language. You're a 50-year-old business owner. I'm like you, and I've also learned a new trending skill. So no matter what age, this works great. Another question is, does it matter where I live? Maybe you live in a small city, a small country. You're concerned. Beautiful thing about the internet is the world's gotten small. You can get a client in any country. It's great to start with small local businesses, and no matter where you live, there's probably some small businesses within 50 miles of you, okay? But once you learn to do that, you can expand out. You can use the internet to find more and more customers. Like I was telling you, Joe, who teaches in the course, he's in DC, has customers thousands of miles away, and it works great. Another common question is, can I trust the refund? And as I said, the refund policy you can 100% trust because it's backed by Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. So that means no one could rip you off even if they wanted to. You could always just call the bank or Visa and they would give you your money back. That's the guarantee they have for you. And that's why I like to use credit card and not have you mail a check or something like that. That way you can feel safe. You can sleep good tonight knowing that. Another question is, why the test group? As I said, if I let 100,000 people into this, because that many people will watch my videos and sometimes in a day. Do you want to have 99,000 other people doing what you're trying to do? I don't think it'd be fair to you. So I'm limiting the size. Some people get bothered because they're like, well, you're cutting me out. I'm not trying to cut everybody out. And that's why when you click this link below, watching this right now has started, your slot has been opened up for you. And like I said, if you choose not to go into it, we'll just open it up. So that's, I think, the best way to do it. Next question. I don't have enough money. What do I do? I have this program's worth 10, 20, 30, 40 grand. That's what I would pay for it if I was starting out and had the money. And so I have to put some price on it. And, I've missed out on things because I didn't have enough money. Save up so that in the future, you always have some cash in the bank. Arnold Schwarzenegger went to his house. He told me he always keeps $1,000 in cash in his wallet because one time he got stuck without money in an airport or something and he was like stuck for 2 days. So, I don't have an easy answer for that, but I believe in the future you can just keep growing and learning, Last thing I'll say, Ty, I've heard, people say, Ty, I've heard about things like this. Is this a get-rich-quick scam? This isn't a scam. First of all, definition of scam is something that won't work. This works. It has been proven to work. And this isn't get-rich-quick. There's no promise you'll be a millionaire in 4 months or even this year. It's not the way to think about life. You don't need to be a millionaire. I've been broke and I've had money. And the main thing is to have momentum and be improving your life. Okay? So I think that's the main questions. Now, take action. Click the button below, and I'll see you on the inside.